evening, we will call to order the Douglasville City Council meeting for Monday, March 21st. We will first have our pastor, Willie Mays of No Limits Christian Church, come and do the invocation. Good evening. And then our Mayor Pro Tem will do the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Amen. Thank you, Mayor. Let us bow our heads and go to God in prayer, shall we? Lord God, we thank you so much for this time that has already been ordained by you. Lord God, we know that you are a God of government. We thank you, Father, that at the head of our government, you still sit high on the throne. So, God, I pray right now that we would be able to hear clearly from you, that you would give us direction for this great city, Father, for this great nation. I pray right now, God, that you would let there just be such a spirit of peace, direction. Lord God, let there be unity tonight, God, in the name of Jesus. Have your way in us, through us, and let your light shine out of us, God, that this whole world, God, will see what a great place Douglasville is and that we hear from you. I thank you right now for godly leadership, for you said when righteous are in authority that the people rejoice. So, God, tonight we rejoice because you still sit on the throne. So we thank you for this ordained time, and we ask your blessings now in your Son, Jesus' awesome name. All those that agree said amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. We will go on to announcements and presentations. First of all, I'll give some brief procedural issues that we're going to abide by in the meeting tonight, and after that, we're going to have a presentation to the Boys and Girls Club. Please put your cell phones in the silent mode. Please keep your conversations to a minimum. No loud outbursts or booing. No clapping unless initiated by the mayor and council. And if you would like to give comments during this meeting, you'll first need to fill out the citizens' comment form that is found outside on the small table when you enter into the auditorium, and hand that form after you've filled it out to the city clerk, to my right, Ms. Vicki Acker. We only accept for and against comments from the citizens on zoning matters, and you'll be giving the length of time and direction when to do so. All other comments will be received during the comments form for citizens and delegates at the end of the meeting. Before giving any comments, please state your name and address for the record. Now we move on to our agenda items. The first one is the announcement and the presentation of a proclamation to a representative of the Douglasville Boys and Girls Club, proclaiming that the week of March 7th through March 12th was Boys and Girls Club Week in the city of Douglasville. I'll read excerpts from the proclamation, and then I'll ask a representative to come forward, and the mayor and council, we will take photos with you. This proclamation reads, National Boys and Girls Club Week, March 7th through March 12th, 2016. The young people of the city of Douglasville are tomorrow's leaders, and many such young people need professional youth services to help them reach their full potential. And the Boys and Girls Clubs provide such services to young people annually. The Boys and Girls Clubs are a place where great futures are started and great futures are foregone, efforts in academic success, health, lifestyles, and good character and citizenship. Boys and Girls Clubs organizations in our state help ensure that our young people keep off the streets, offering them a safe and supportive place to go and provide them with quality programs. Whereas the Boys and Girls Club of Douglas County celebrated National Boys and Girls Club Week 2016, along with 4,000 clubs and more than 2 million young people nationwide. Now, therefore, I, Rochelle Robinson, Mayor of the City of Douglasville, do hereby proclaim March 7th through March 12th as National Boys and Girls Club Week in the City of Douglasville, so proclaimed on this day, March 21st, 2016, In witness thereof, I have set my hand and caused this seal to be affixed. We'll ask that the mayor, myself, and the council members will please come around if there's a representative from the Boys and Girls. It's Miss Breezy. Okay, would you all please come around and I'll sign it. All right, we'll move right on. We have the consent agenda.
Yes, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
That item is 21-16-06. Are there, thank you. It's been moved and second. Are there any questions or comments? Thank you. All those in favor of accepting the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The consent agenda passes. We'll go on to the next item, which is Public Safety Committee. Oh, I apologize, the minutes. We have too much going on tonight. The minutes of the legislative work session for March 3rd, 2016, and the regular meeting of March 7th, 2016. Are there any corrections or comments about the minutes? Any corrections from council members? Okay, make a motion to approve the minutes as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The minutes are accepted. Now we'll move on from the minutes and consent agenda to committees. The first committee is the Public Safety Committee, and that chairman is Mayor Pro Tem Larry Yockey. We have item 20-16-08, which is authorize the mayor to sign a contract with Ronnie Odom for auction services for surplus city properties.
Yes, I make a motion to approve item 20-16-08.
Thank you. A motion has been made to approve 20-16-08. Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions from the council? All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. We'll move on to Community and Economic Development Committee. That chairman will have the vice chair. Is this correct or? No, I apologize. The chairman, Councilman Mark Adams, which is item 21-16-08, to authorize the mayor to sign a 2-year agreement with the Black Education History Exhibit, Inc., BHE, for joint sponsorship of the Juneteenth events for 2016 and 2017.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve item 21-16-08.
Thank you, sir. Has there been a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, are there any questions or concerns as it relates to this item for BHE?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I believe Councilman Adams said 21. Correction is 22-16.
No, it's
Okay.
not.
Let me see.
21.
It was 21? Okay. My bad.
Yes, sir. It's 21-16-08. Sometimes it's lost in translation before the laptop or the form, but it's 21-016-08. So we have a motion and a second. Are there any other comments or questions? If not, all those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The ayes have it. We'll move on to Planning and Development Committee. The vice chair for this committee is Mayor Pro Tem Larry Yockey. Item 22-16-08 is to hold a public hearing and consider a request for a special land use permit for a fortune teller, astrologer, for 0.65 acres zoned CG General Commercial and 5728 Fairburn Road and Land Lot 52, District 1, Section 5, Parcel 26. The application made by Nancy McMillan. Is Ms. McMillan here? Could you please come forward at this time? And so, Vice Chair. Yes, please. Okay, Vice Chairman?
Yes, we're going to go ahead and, did you have any comments?
No, I don't, if you...
Okay. We're going to go ahead and have a public hearing. This is a public hearing for this evening. So if there's anybody for or against this facility, we need to have you come forward and make comments. If there's no comments at this time, then I close the public hearing, and then I make a motion to approve item 22-16-06.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments related to this item? Thank you. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you so much, Ms. Miller. This
so
item
much.
has been
Have a
approved.
wonderful evening. Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll move on now to Parks and Recreation Committee. Chairman, Coach Watts. You have any
Nothing.
business?
I have nothing tonight, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much. Finance Committee is Mayor Pro Tem Larryaki again, and that item is 24-16-04, which is adopt an ordinance to amend the City of Douglasville General Fund budget for fiscal year 2015-2016.
I make a motion to approve item 24-16-04.
Thank you. A motion has been made to approve this item. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments related to this finance item from the council? Thank you. Without any questions being heard, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The ayes have it. We'll move on to Information Technology Committee, which is Chairman Councilman Richard Siegel. The item 25-16-02 is to authorize the mayor to sign a 3-department header package sales forms, amending the city's agreement with Icon Enterprise, Inc., doing business as Civic Plus, to add website headers for the city's internet web pages for the Downtown Conference Center, the Parks and Recreation Department, and the Police Department. To open up the floor for any comments or a motion for 25-16-02.
Madam Mayor, I would like to put forth item 25-16-02 in the form of a motion for approval.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions as it relates to this item from the council? Thank you. Having not heard any, I will, it's been properly moved and second to approve this item. All those in favor of approving item 25-16-02, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you. The ayes have it. Moving on to 13 is Maintenance and Sanitation Committee, and that chairperson is Councilman Mike Miller. That item item 26-16-02, authorize the city manager to solicit bid proposals to provide cleaning services, janitorial maintenance services in the city hall, 2 community centers, and 2 other City of Douglasville government buildings for the 2-year period of May 1st, 2016 through April 30th, 2018. I know we had some discussion with city manager. So, Mr. Chairman.
First of all, Madam Mayor, I have a point of order. The procedures changed a little bit with you reading the actual proposals. That's just new. I was wanting to know the rationale for that.
No rationale, just change. You want to read them? You can
No, I was just wondering if there was. We just haven't done that before, so I was curious. So, with that, Madam Mayor, I propose that we. I make a motion to approve as read. Item 26-16-02.
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and second. Are there any questions or comments related to this item? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. We'll move on to Maintenance and Sanitation Committee, and the chairman for that is also Councilman Miller. The item 26-16-02 is to authorize the city manager. No? We just read that one.
Yes.
Transportation Committee. That chairperson is Councilwoman LaShawn Burdanley. That item is 27-16-01, is to authorize the mayor to give a 30-day notice of contract cancellation to the consultant agreement between Adwell LLC and the City of Douglasville for $91,726 for engineering consultant services for the Riverside Parkway Bridge. Councilmember Burdanley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion that we approve item 27-16-0 read that has been read already.
Second.
Okay, there are any questions or comments on this item? Having not heard any, all those in favor, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve this item. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Personnel and Organization Committee, Councilman Miller.
Excuse me, Madam Mayor, the second item.
We have one more.
There's one more.
Oh, it sure is. Item 27-16-02 is to authorize the city planning director to issue a request for qualifications, RFQ, for the Riverside Parkway Bridge project located in the City of Douglasville's Riverside Parkway at Sweetwater Creek, being a federal and GDOT project. Councilmember LaShawn Burdanley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion that we approve item 27-16-02.
Second.
Okay, this has been properly moved in second. All those, are there any questions as relates to this item from Mayor Council? I don't have any. So all those in favor of approving item 27-16-02, please let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you, the ayes have it. Personnel and Organization Committee, Councilmember Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight.
Thank you. Ordinance and Intergovernmental Committee, and that chairman is Councilmember LaShawn B. Danley. And that item is 29-16-02 to adopt an individual to the Douglasville, Douglas County Water and Sewer Authority Board of Directors to complete an unexpired term which extends through April 2nd, 2021.
Yes, Madam Mayor, our city manager, Marsha Hampton, will pass out ballots so that we can appoint someone to the Water and Sewer Authority. Thank you, ma'am.
It has the. I'm so sorry. Just cross it out. Put your name. Okay.
X.
Yes.
I will hand out additional ballots. You do have a tie between Mr. Jeff Knowles and Mr. Martin Raxton. So those are the two that you will be selecting from, Mr. Jeff Knowles and Mr. Martin Raxton. Tie vote. So, there is a tie vote unless someone is willing to change their vote. We have two candidates that you have for the Water and Sewer Authority Board. I can issue out the ballots again. That's where we are.
Well,
Attorneys, do you have any suggestions?
Madam Mayor, the ballots are not binding anyway. At this point, what you need to do is to open the floor for nominations and then take a vote on each nomination. However, no one can be confirmed without 4 votes. Well,
It's
5
8,
since you're
5.
voting.
Yes, ma'am. So you're saying we can't do ballots again?
It does not appear to be fruitful. You can do ballots again if you wish to, or you can simply table the matter till the next meeting. If you have that latitude with regard to the WSA regulations. No tabling.
No, they need an appointment.
Yes, ma'am.
We do. No, we will, pardon me? Do you have more ballots with you? Or we will have to? No, I'm not, I'm hearing that they would rather do ballots again. That was item 16. We'll move on to continue the committee reports and not take action on that item. In Robert's rules, we'll be able to come back. Okay, we can take a recess. I make a motion that we recess the regular committee meeting in order to give us time to have ballots made so that we can vote again. So I make a motion to take a recess.
Second.
All those in favor of recess, please say aye.
Aye.
All those, thank you. All of those opposed, we're in short recess. We will call back to order the City of Douglasville City Council regular meeting for Monday, March 21st, and we are in the process of selecting an individual to serve a 5-year term on the Douglas County Water and Sewer Authority Board of Directors. We've had a tie, and at this point, we'll have our Assistant City Attorney, Ms. Littlefield, explain to us what will happen if we have another tie, which it will go to the Superior Court judge, but we'll need exact wording from Ms. Littlefield. If you don't mind speaking to us, please.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Mayor, the balloting that you're doing here is a straw vote, which suggests to the chairman which person he should nominate in order for confirmation, because you must have 5 votes for any board. For anyone to be appointed. However, if you fail to appoint someone tonight, the choice will go to the Superior Court judge, the chief judge, to do the appointment, who will not be bound by who will not be limited to the individuals you chose to interview.
So he can appoint someone else, even though it's a tie, he's not bound to take the 2 that we've had a tie with.
That's my understanding, yes.
All right.
Madam Mayor, with that having been said, I would like to make a nomination then to that position, please.
Yes, sir. The floor is open. You can make, pardon me? So, Councilman Adams, you don't want to take the ballot, the vote ballot anymore? You're just going to make a nomination from the floor?
Yes, ma'am, I would like to do that, but I would also like to make note that it's just been realized by myself that we only have 7 candidates on this list. There's a candidate that was interviewed that is not on this list.
I have 8.
Why would we not still have 8 then? We were supposed to be given the opportunity to choose from 8. Is that what you're saying? Why would this one be different than the first? I guess I'm confused.
Just one person was left off maybe on a list. I have 8 still on my list.
I do not. Okay, I just want to make sure, because the one I'm looking at that you've provided me with only has 7. Okay. Okay, having said that, I would like to make a nomination for Mr. Julian Carter to be appointed to the Douglas County Water and Sewer Authority for a period of 5 years.
Okay, the floor has been open for nominations for Mr. Carter to be appointed. Do I have a second?
Madam Mayor, can I?
Yes.
I'm sorry, just a point of order. Are we nominating a completely new list, or will Julian Carter be added to?
No, sir, he was one of the 8. He's one of the 8 original on the list
But currently, we have 2 that we're voting.
that were tied.
That were tied. Is he going to be added to the ballot with the 2 tied folks, or are we starting with a new ballot?
We were taking, the city attorney said that if we had a tie again, it would have to go to the Superior Court judge. It didn't look like we were going to break a tie, but we can rescind, if we don't get a second for Mr. Carter, then.
Mayor, a
Yes.
second is not required for nomination for an election.
Okay.
So what you need to do, now that you have one nomination, is take all the nominations that your council wishes to offer, and then take all the votes for each one of those persons nominated, and see if you can get 5 for anyone.
Okay. So nomination for Mr. Carter. How many people?
Please take other nominations now.
Okay, the floor is open for other nominations for candidates.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to nominate Jeff Knowles.
Thank you, sir. Any other?
Carl Pope.
Martin Raxton.
Johnny Nutley.
So we have 5 nominations, is that correct? We have Mr. Carter, Mr. Knowles, Mr. Nunley, Mr. Pope, and Mr. Raxton. So are we to vote on those 5?
Yes, ma'am, please call the first name and call for votes on the first name, and do that for each of the 5.
Thank you. I'll take nominations or votes for, all the nominations have been in, are submitted. We'll take a vote for Mr. Carter. All those in favor, Mr. Carter, please raise your hand. Thank you. 1. Mr. Knowles? Thank you. Mr. Nunley? Thank you. Mr. Pope? And Mr. Raxton? So it looks like Mr.
You have a
Raxton.
failed vote, Mayor.
Pardon me?
You have a failed vote. No one has been appointed.
So it will go to the Superior Court judge, correct? But you need you need 5. Okay.
Madam Mayor, if it goes to the Superior Court judge, can we suggest to the Superior Court judge?
You may do anything that you would like informally. However, the Superior Court judge is not bound by the nominees that you send him.
Right, we had some great candidates. It's been very difficult, so it stands to reason that we would have, we have lots of great people to choose from. So we'll move on to the next committee, which is Education and Training Committee. That chairman is Councilman Davis. You have any business, sir? Councilman Davis, you have any business, sir?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Is there any other business to come before the mayor and council? All right, we have reports now. The city attorney, Mr. Dotson.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Chief Assistant City Attorney, Ms. Littlefield.
No, excuse me, no report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Chief of Police, whether we have the deputy chief.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. City Manager, Ms. Hampton.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Comments from citizens and delegates. The floor is now open for comments for citizens and delegates. If you would like to address the council, you should have filled out a form at the desk. If you would come to the podium, please, and give your name and address for the record. And the floor is open for you to make comments at this time. Yes, sir. Ms. Acker.
Good evening. My name's Toby Foster. I live at 8793 Campbellton Street, Douglasville, Georgia, 30134. I live basically in the heart of downtown, if you will, right smack next door to Douglas County High School. Been there for about 15 years. I've been in this community all 45 years of my life. As a matter of fact, my children are fourth generation in this community. Proud of the community that I live in. Proud to be a Douglasville City resident. And I just have to voice my concern. I came last Thursday and I watched your presentations that you had from your various groups on the plans that somehow have popped up very suddenly for the old mill site. Again, I know that that piece of property has been in a very, very bad shape for a number of years. Of course, it was burnt down. The city acquired it in, I guess, 2011. And now we have a situation where you guys, I guess, are trying to figure out what to do with what I assume to be a toxic piece of land. Makes sense, I guess, that you're looking to have someone help you do that. But my concern, I guess, with what you're doing and rushing into, as I said, I've been here, my children are fourth generation here. And as I listened to what the people were putting together the other night, each one of them all said, hey, we're being rushed into this situation. We don't have all the facts. We don't know what we're working with. But we'll get this thing together. We'll come back to you and we'll try to figure out where we need to go with it. And as a matter of fact, as I reviewed your very first presenter's presentation, Lemon Street Development, they actually say in their cover letter that they do not have enough time to put this together to be into 2016, that it needs to wait until 2017. And my request or plea to you as a citizen of this ward, lifelong citizen here in Douglasville, is take the time to investigate this. Don't rush into something after 2 weeks to make a decision that's going to impact the 4 generations that I've been here so far, and anywhere from 1 to additional 5 generations. My grandchildren's grandchildren will be impacted by the decision that you make with this. So I ask and plead with you that you do the due diligence on this. Is it right to have a senior citizen housing project up there? I don't know. I really, really don't know. That might be the best use for the piece of property up there. However, I think what we need to do is, now that you have the property, now that you have title, do some type of study, get the people's input on what they would like there, instead of whomever it is that's gotten together and put this, rushed it together, gotten with these people to come out and do a presentation on Wednesday to make a decision on the 31st of March. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your time.
Hi, I'm Julie Camp, lifelong resident of Douglasville. I'm also a realtor, and I'm also on Keep Douglasville Beautiful board. And me being here has nothing to do with the board, but I did want to ask why we are moving so quickly. This land has been sitting there for a long time in disrepair. There's no need to rush. We need to really plan ahead and do this properly. For years, I've watched the Downtown Development Authority and several business entities fight for something to bring people downtown, a destination. A senior citizen facility is certainly not a destination. It's not going to help downtown. It's not going to revitalize the historic part of downtown. And we're severely limited in what we can do commercially because, you know, we have the historical homes surrounding. And, you know, we need a hotel to help with the conference center. We need a lot of other development that brings in money, not one that will suck money out of our budget. This is going to cost the taxpayers. There is nothing in any of these plans that gives us money. $10 a month for the lease is nothing. And why are we partnering with a private entity? What if they go out of business in 5 years? Then we become landlords. Who is going to maintain this facility? And they're saying that because it is low income, they can only develop on the back half of the property. Well, then the city will have to maintain the front half. More tax dollars. We're going to have to improve the sewer and water. Everything on that property goes to the taxpayers. There's nothing in this plan that helps us out. Nothing. It's zoned DCD, mixed use, is not zoned for public housing. Let's see, some more notes here. Oh, it's not good for the seniors. A lot of them won't be able to drive, won't have cars. Where are they going to go shopping? Where are they going to the grocery store? That will, again, fall on the taxpayers and volunteers to go and take these people to the store. You know, there are other places that we could put this that would help us immensely. And recently, Douglasville, the city of Douglasville, got our credit rating, and it wasn't good. It was the worst in the metro area. And the entity who rated us said that it was because of the median income in the city. So we're going to bring in more low income and hurt our taxpayers by hurting our credit rating? We spend $4.5 million a year on debt in this city. That will go to $17 million in 2019. That's 3 years from now. Where are we going to get that money? You know, and this project does nothing to benefit us. It's not going to help us pay for the conference center. We're losing money right and left. We need projects that will bring money into the city. There are other places in the city where we could put things like this. We've got tons of places. But the only reason that they want that property is because they can get it for basically free. And we're giving it to them. But we're shooting ourselves in the foot at the same time. It has absolutely no economic benefit for Douglasville. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Camp.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Madam Mayor, council members, my name is Tony Phillips, and on Friday, March 11th, I qualified as a candidate for Georgia State Senate District 35. And I just wanted to stop by this evening to introduce myself and to let you know that I want to have a dialogue with you about what's important in the issues in Douglasville. I originally moved to the Fulton part of the district about 40 years ago as a third grader, and I've been in and around this area ever since. My lovely wife is here with me this evening. She's from the Hiram, Douglasville area, and when we first married 18 years ago, we lived right on the border of Austell and Lithia Springs for about 10 years. So we're very familiar with Douglasville. It was our live, work, play community when we first got married, and I have a warm feeling, always have been, for the Douglasville area. I have a lot of thoughts about new leadership and new vision in the District 35 Senate seat, and having a senator who can advocate for your concerns here in Douglasville. And I look forward to the opportunity to speak with you further and to speak with the citizens of Douglasville about the issues that matter to them. I thank you for your time, and I look forward to the opportunity to speak with you further.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments from citizens or delegates?
Good evening, Mayor,
Good
Council.
evening, Ms. Mitchell.
My name is Nobi Bowen Mitchell, 7755 Mountain Creek Way, Douglasville, Georgia. I'm here in support of senior housing for the city of Douglasville. Cannot speak on timelines, but I am in support of senior housing today and every day for the next 19 years, according to Pew Research Center. 10,000 baby boomers will reach the age of 65. Currently, 13% of our population in America is 65 years old. According to President Barack Obama, this works out to be 250,000 people each month turning 65. The President also said, one of our best measures of the country is how we treat our older citizens. That's a challenge for America, he said, but it's only one that our country can and should meet. I tried to call several senior housing today. One was Douglas County Housing Authority, in which I had not received the call back, but their recording did say that they had a waiting list. I did speak with Connors Senior Community in Villa Rica. She said she has almost 700 on her waiting list. I spoke with Howland Park Senior Center across from the library. She says it's about 2.5-year waiting list for her units. I also spoke with the Douglasville Volunteers of America Disabled Housing. They also have a waiting list. Although many of our seniors would like to age in place in their home, so many are faced with losses. Loss of a spouse, that may be 50% of their income, health-related issues. That's when, of course, they're going to have to deal with more medications, more medical costs. Also, financial. If you all turned 65 today and only had your Social Security income, you would probably have to make some real adjustments. Aging in Places article indicated that for the poor, physical, frail, and older adults in subsidized housing and associated services provide a safety net for them. Also, without them, there would be no us. Write the vision for our seniors and make it plain. I'll also leave you with these words from the minister's sermon. As you aspire to be leaders, put on humility. And also have some information from an advocate, Janet Payne, who is an advocate for seniors. Affordable housing developments that replace depressed conditions, vacant, abandoned properties, or blighted conditions likely would generate more positive impact on the surrounding properties than those developed on vacant lands in troubled neighborhoods. Generally, it seems that when affordable housing development is a part of a neighborhood, benefits occur to a greater benefit for that neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for me?
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. Are there any other questions or comments?
My name is April Streetman. I live at 8739 Club Drive. I have been a citizen of Douglasville for the past going on 35 years. I am also a very active member at the West Georgia Board of Realtors. So I come here speaking basically on my behalf, not on the Board of Realtors' behalf. But as a citizen and a realtor for 20 years, I can emphatically tell you that any more low income that you bring into Douglas County will totally affect our housing here. We are already considered a low income area, and this is when it comes to the people that I am bringing in from Atlanta that are transferring in here to our area. To get them over into Douglasville and Douglas County is a challenge. I think we have some other realtors here tonight that can also tell you the same thing. They're going outside of Douglas County. And why? It's because they are going online and they are looking at our median income before they even place that phone call to me. They are looking at our schools before they even place that phone call to us. We have got to bring our level of the city up, not lower it by bringing more income into more low income into the area. We're already in a historic recession that we have not pulled up from at best. We don't need to be going in making a rush decision. I have nothing. I am close to a senior citizen. I am close to low income. I might be living in one of these places, and I'm glad to live in one of those places. But due diligence is definitely needed in this situation. Just as from a residential standpoint, we give $75,000 houses or $120,000 houses 10 days, 7 to 10 days due diligence. These builders are giving us 2 weeks to make such an important decision. What's the rush? Take your time, do the due diligence. That land is still going to be here 1 year from now. If it's the right place for it, then I will stand behind it 100%. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes, ma'am. Hey, Ms. Barbara.
Greetings. My name is Barbara Janetta Smith. I reside at 1734 Silver Creek Drive, Lithia Springs, Georgia. While I do not reside in Douglasville city limits, I do reside in Douglas County for the past 20 years. I choose not to use the term projects, low income. I choose to use the word affordable housing. Affordable housing is a basic human need that growing numbers of elders and people with disabilities cannot afford. Times have changed. More and more young seniors are choosing to move into a senior community while they're still young, vibrant, and independent, knowing they will be well cared for as they age and their needs change. The senior population, those aged 65 and over, is expected to double by year 2030 from 35 million to 70 million. Most seniors who have moved into a senior community report that they prefer life at their new home than to live alone. Some of the reasons given are no stress yard work, maintenance-free environment, improved family relationship, better food. Living alone, they very seldom eat right. It ends a stressful driving. They feel safe. They're active, energized, aggressive, and passionate. For seniors to remain living safely at home, a wide range of home modifications might be needed if their physical health begins to wane, such as shower railings and medical alert systems, to name just two, and the expenses can quickly add up. Affordable senior communities are designed for mobility and accessibility, helping seniors avoid falls and accidents, and providing rapid access to assistance. I am a happy senior citizen and a strong advocate for senior communities. Sometimes in life, an unexpected curveball is thrown, and your health, finances, and living conditions are altered. Many are now homeless at no fault of their own. I am elated that this subject is on the floor for a discussion. True age is beautiful, and the silver hair head is a crown of glory. We seniors are valuable and full of wisdom. Please give this subject your highest consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Any other comments? Just give us your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, Scott Powers, 8619 Campbellton Street in Douglasville, Georgia. Ms. Mayor and Council, I'm concerned about the proposal for the old mill site in Douglasville. I'm concerned that you've been left with a very important decision in only a couple of weeks, and that's just not enough adequate time to do due diligence here. This is not about denying seniors affordable housing. If we have shown that there is sufficient data and that there's sufficient need and understand the scope of that need, we need to address it. And we need to do so quickly and responsibly, both for those who live in that housing and for the rest of us that live and pay taxes to support it here in Douglasville. The Highway 92 bypass changes the game with the old mill property. It can be the eastern anchor point to encourage quality infill development between it and downtown historic Douglasville. So here's a couple of issues I wanted to talk about specifically. How did we get first so far along that even there were council members who weren't even up to speed and aware that this was being discussed, if this was such an important need? It's evident that the city is focused on low-income housing needs. Mr. Lynn, our community development director, spent 2.5 years managing affordable housing programs before being hired. Mr. Lynn and Ms. Hampton discussed the importance of affordable housing and the city's second year participating in the Georgia Initiative for Community Housing on City TV. Ms. Hampton had stated that the city of Douglasville had instructed her and her staff to move forward with marketing the property, but I'm not aware that that instruction had any specific focus related to low-income tax credit housing, as versus just a general broad statement to market the property. The fact that my councilman, Mr. Miller, who represents the district that the old mill site occupies, only learned of the RFP from one of the developers themselves at lunch, speaks of some concerns about communication in terms of the focus of this being an initiative. So we've established that there's a priority, but how does city staff determine there's a need? Aside from Mr. Adams' research that we have 220 units, mostly already located in the district with the mill, no data has been offered. I'm sorry, but national statistics are absolutely irrelevant. The importance is what's happening on the ground here in Douglasville and for our citizens. So let me give you some data. Ackworth and Douglasville had similar total house sales over the past 6 months. Similarities in there. Douglasville had 580% more affordable housing under $100,000 than Ackworth. Ackworth, Marietta, and Alpharetta are cited as examples of these projects, but those markets may actually need more affordable housing. We don't know that Douglasville does because we haven't done the due diligence to make that point. So whose seniors are going to occupy this project? That's the question that I ask as a taxpayer. What are the waiting lists for Douglas County's existing affordable senior housing? What percentage of those people on the waiting lists are actually from Douglas County? If you don't know, you can't vote for this in 2 weeks. If you cannot prove that there is a need, you must vote to study this issue further so that we make a sound decision. Thirdly, why has only low-income housing been considered for the mill site? Why didn't the RFP engage developers from mixed use and commercial and senior housing and low-income senior housing and other uses? Then, and only then, if only low-income housing developers responded, that would be one piece of data in support of this proposal for this site. But to assert that only low-income developers are the only option for this property, you don't know that because you didn't ask. Fourth issue. 2 weeks and one 15-minute presentation is absolutely not enough time to conduct due diligence on developers, hold public forums about giving away a 45 to 99-year lease on a piece of property the city owns. Fifth issue, you have no plan. The only plan we have for this property is a future land use plan, and you want to throw that away. Sounds kind of like building a conference center in downtown Douglasville to me. We should be asking ourselves a lot of questions. I hope this is instructive, and I appreciate the forum to come speak with you. So take note. What is the vision for what we want Douglasville to be in 20 years? How can the mill site be leveraged to improve the surrounding village and the corridor to historic downtown Douglasville? How can we create development that begins to raise the household incomes and property values in the community so that we have the wherewithal financially to support those that are in need here? If we're leveraging property to improve economic conditions, that's not a bad thing necessarily, but what is the desired outcome? What is the plan to leverage that and get us there? So in general, I just would like to close with a comment, and that is, this has been a good project overall. The outcome, even though it's sort of out of opposition, is that there's a very strong downtown neighborhood association forming, and I look forward to that organization inviting each of you at your convenience to join us for events and public speaking opportunities.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Powers. Thank you. Any other comments?
Good afternoon. I'm Howard Lynn. I live at 6735 Oakhurst Court, Douglasville. Been here for quite a few years. I just kind of got in on the tail end of this about the mill property and just had a couple of questions that maybe, if it is approved, and which I totally agree with the earlier speakers, that take your time, just research it, make sure it's needed for one thing. Make sure that if you're going to adhere, and this is a question I have, if you decide is senior property, senior residence, can that be changed later after the developer comes in and says, I can't fill it up with 55 and over. Let's move it to 50, or let's move it to 45. Is that going to be a requirement once the developer buys into this that they have to stand by? Is that, an answer on that, or is that something that's sort of, yeah, we recommend 55?
No, it's senior housing. They can't change it.
You can't make it, you can't hold it to 55, or I didn't understand what you said.
Yes.
You can't. All right. Is there going to be a performance bond for this developer? To
No
make
specifics
sure.
on that.
Pardon? Why would there not be? Because how many, and I'm speaking from the recession, and I happen to have been in the real estate business, so I can tell you how the recession hurts. Let's say you give this lease, the 45 or the 99-year lease for the $12 a year or whatever, a month or whatever it is. The developer has not put anything forward in the land. The city still owns the land, or the taxpayers. Okay, the builder gets in there and say we have another recession, and they bail, which they do, I can assure you. The city is left with an unfinished project that has to come to the taxpayer to finish that project up, or it just sits there empty, like we've seen so many things around Atlanta and the country. My understanding is that Mr. Miller, there's an act named after Miller. It's called the Miller Act, that if the government is involved in a project, the federal law is that anything over $100,000 has to have a performance bond. In the states, if I'm reading this correctly, and again, I'm not an attorney, but in the states it's called the Little Miller Act. And it says that a project that's over $100,000, you have to have a performance bond to complete the project, if I understand it correctly. You can Google it if you want to. I know how good the internet is, so for what it's worth. But the point is, make sure that whoever you agree with to do this project, if you do decide to do the project, they can perform, and they can perform till it's completed. Because if you don't, you can be stuck. The city the taxpayers and the city is going to have a piece of property there that's half completed, and they just walk. Because they're not, where are they putting in? Because I understand they're getting a lot of their money, maybe grant money or whatever, to do this. Well, if you don't buy into the project and have your hard money in there, sometimes it's easy to walk. And that's what we don't want to happen. We don't want any walking away. We want you to finish the project. There is another issue on that. Maintaining the property. Once you do maintenance bonds, there are maintenance bonds for the same thing, keeping the property up. City of Alpharetta does that. City of Marietta does that. You put up a 3-year bond that you will make sure the property is completed, landscaping, which only makes sense because you want it to look nice when they get through with it, and not let somebody just walk away and kind of halfway complete the project and then okay, I've got my money, I'm gone. So that's just the few things I have on that. And if you do, but the most important thing is take your time, think about it. You don't have to jump on this. And I just found out about Friday morning. April called me, and April and I live down the street from each other. And I try to be pretty involved with the city, or at least know what's going on with the city. That's the first time I'd heard it. I knew there was a possibility trying to sell the property or do something with the property because it took you 4 years to to get it out of the hands of the whoever. But let's take our time on that. Let's think about it. And but I would like for you to check in the performance. If you decide on that, the performance bond, I think you'd be very, very wise to look into that to make these developers, because see, you can't sue a government entity because the city owns the property. If I understand that's right. I know you have a couple of attorneys here, but maybe I'm wrong, but you can't sue a government entity. So if they don't complete the project, who do you go after? The city? And then who pays that? Taxpayers. So thank you for your time, though.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lynn. Any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
My name's Brenda Camp, and I have resided in Douglasville for most of my life. I have lived in downtown Douglasville on 8720 Rose Avenue and other locations for the last 34 years. So there's been a lot of good comments made here tonight and good points, and many that I was educated myself about some of this. But I first would like to say that I too am not against affordable senior housing, as long as it's age restricted. With other restrictions, we've seen senior communities go in that are age restricted, and the next thing we see is they've got children moving in with them, grandchildren moving in with them, and it's no longer an age-restricted community. Someone mentioned tonight the Connors Road senior housing community, and I've been in there, and it's very nice. I believe that that's a good concept that they have going there. But I am not in favor of anything being built in this city unless it enhances our city. Douglasville has been known, Douglasville, Douglas County has been known as a low-income area for too long. And we need to be working toward creating a positive, not negative perception here. Thank you.
Brian Miller, 5257 Green Spring Court, Douglasville. I attended the RFP proposal meeting. I was especially impressed with TBG Residential because I thought they did a terrific job of maintaining some of the architectural elements of the old mill site. Given the vital role that the mill played in our county for many years, I think it's very important to maintain the history of the mill for future generations. What's troubling to me is the short time frame that we have to make a decision. I understand that the application is due on 6/9, and my understanding is that y'all have to make a decision by 3/31. And I just think that it would be irresponsible for the city council to make a decision in a 2-week time frame when this is the only proposal that has been given to the people or to the council. Given the limited amount of tax revenue the city would receive with this project, the only benefit I see is that we would get the mill site cleaned up and we wouldn't send the taxpayers the tab. This is short-term thinking. This housing will be here for the next 100+ years, and like I said, it would be irresponsible for y'all to make that decision in such a short amount of time. This will be the gateway to the city from the north, and so I really think that you guys need to take the time and do it right. My request is for y'all to postpone making a decision on 3/31 to explore other viable options for this location and get feedback from the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. That the time frame, was it 30 minutes for and against?
Would you like me to make a comment on the 31st, just to be clear for everybody in the audience?
Go ahead, I was going to go
Okay.
ahead and say something.
We're not voting on the 31st, just for everyone in the audience. We will come back for committee meeting so that it's under Community Economic Development Committee with the chairman, who's Chairman Adams. It'll be under committee. There's not a voting item on that series of meetings because I'm not quite certain what the chairman would recommend. So it's up for discussion, not up for a vote unless he directs me to do so. So that's where we are on the 31st for more discussion following those meetings, just to make certain everyone knows that.
Hampton, could I clarify something there, please? Now, you mentioned the 31st. The 31st is actually not a night of a voting meeting anyway.
That is correct.
That is a legislative work session.
That is correct.
The next voting meeting would be then the following Monday.
That is correct. I have it on the 5 o'clock meetings for committee for you to talk for the first time under your committee chair, and you will give direction as to where we go from there.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, now, any other comments from the citizens? And what I will say, really to chime in with Chairman Adams and Ms. Hampton, is that, of course, that meeting last Thursday was for information only. We were receiving information from developers and groups that were interested in that property for income-sensitive senior housing. But we said at the beginning of the meeting that there were several options on the table. All those options will be explored, and the chairman will make a recommendation. It's my recommendation that we don't move forward, talking to the city manager and having heard from council members and you all today, and we've been hearing from you all weekend. I've gotten several calls all the way up until we went to committee meeting that we are listening to the community. So we would wait on the 31st from 6 months to a year to have more discovery for us to see the best and highest use for that property. But that meeting on Thursday, which we said then, was just information for us to consider on the 31st. But we do realize that it's too quick for us to make a decision in 2 weeks. We will not be able to make the markers of April 1st and then June 1st, so we were just receiving information. And after having received that on Thursday, it was my recommendation that we don't move forward. The city manager had given us some data. And to clarify, a lot of comments were said about we were rushing into it and we hadn't heard about these people. We didn't have the deed as a city until recently. So there were folks out there that wanted to develop. They just didn't come before us, and that's why we put an RFQ out to have information come in, because there were so many people that were interested in that property, but we couldn't hear them until we had total ownership of the property, and we put standards and markers for them to meet. So those 4 companies met those requirements. But at no time did we say, you know, this is definite, we're going forward. We just said we're receiving and collecting information. But we do know that senior income housing is a need in the community based on the comprehensive plan. So those are all the options, and our chairman, Councilman Adams, will make the recommendation for us, but we're still in the discovery stage. But as it looks today, and of course it'll be Mr. Councilman Adams, Chairman Adams' decision to make, we're saying that we would need more time because we wouldn't be able to turn around if we decided to move on one of the 4 applicants. We wouldn't have enough time to turn around what we needed to have done before March 31st. You want to say anything else?
No, thank you.
Chairman? Yes, sir. Okay, if there aren't any more comments as related to that, we'll move on to staff reports. Okay. If not, then I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned. No nays.